Alright, it's called I'm Obeying You. So what's up with this? How many of you guys have ever been in your life where you're like, God, I am seriously like obeying you. I'm in your will. I know I'm doing right. So why is this in my life? What's up with this? Why did this happen in my life? What's up with this? How many of you guys ever been there? Raise your hand. Okay, good. I'm in the right spot then. All right, go to Mark chapter 4. Mark chapter 4. I'm going to look to answer that on today. Those of you guys watching by internet, YouTube, and all that stuff. Love you and we welcome you. Mark 4:35. If you look at verse 33 through 34, it's basically Jesus was teaching to the multitudes, and he was teaching them in parables and analogies and all of that good stuff. And he was speaking to them, and then he explained to his disciples some great things. All right. Now he's getting ready to leave. Okay, so let's pick up in verse 35. On the same day, when it was evening, when it was night had come, he said to them, let us cross over to the other side. He didn't say, let's stay at the same side. He said, let's what? Cross over. So if we're going to go to another side, that means that we're leaving where we are and we're going somewhere else. Okay? So he said, let us cross over to the other side. Verse 36, when they had left the multitude and thousands of people, they took him along in the boat as he was, and other little boats were also with him. In other words, he was rolling deep. You know how you see a lot of celebrities, they roll up in their car and they have like an entourage with them, 5, 6 cars with them. That's how Jesus rode. He had his inner circle with him, so he never rode alone. So he's leaving in the boats and the other boats are following him, right? And a great windstorm arose. Everybody say great windstorm. Another storm, it got crazy. The weather got crazy. It was a great windstorm. It was almost similar to like a Hurricane Katrina, okay? It's going nuts. And he's just in the boat and he's crossing over. And the waves beat into the boat to where the boat was filling up with water. But he was in the stern asleep on a pillow, and they awoke him and said to him, Teacher, do you not care that we're perishing? Then he arose and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, there was a great calm. But he said to them, Why are you so fearful? How is it that you have no faith? They feared exceedingly and said to one another, Who can this be that even the wind and the sea obey him? So let's go back to verse 35 so we can break this down. When Jesus said, let us cross over, this was analogous in our lives as we're going to another season. We're going to another task. I'm leaving this grade and I'm going to another one. I'm leaving this location and I'm moving to another one. I'm leaving where I am currently in life and I'm going somewhere new. I may have been where I was for a while. And how many of you guys know we get comfortable for a while? I don't know about you, but me, when I start getting into a rut, I get comfortable and I don't really like to get shaken up. But see, God doesn't want you to stay where you're going to stay. God doesn't want you to stay with the friends that you're always going to be with, because if he has more dreams that he has to get you to, and if he has more things that he has to do through you, he's got to get more people to you. Because the people that help you get to where you are not going to be the ones that get you and help you get to the next level. I'm looking to go from an apartment to a house, Pastor Tommy, so I'm tired of renting. I see all the benefits of owning, so I'm ready to own. So now I'm ready to cross over. I'm ready to put in the work. I'm ready to start a budget. I'm ready to grab a hold of my life. Pastor Tommy, I'm ready to leave the chickens in my life. It's time. I'm ready to leave this old relationship. I'm ready to go. I want to do some new things in my life. It's time for me to cross over. So the second Jesus crosses over and he says to them, let's cross over and go to the other side, correct? They're in the boat chilling. Then all of a sudden a great windstorm happens. Was Jesus in the will of God? Yes or no? Absolutely. He had spoke and talked to one crowd, and then he's going to the next town to go teach another. He's not doing anything wrong. In the middle of his circumstance of him following the will of God, adversity strikes. A windstorm represents opposition and adversity in life. What type of opposition are you guys going through in your lives as you are following the plan of God? What type of opposition are we going through when we're looking to cross over, when we're looking to go from here to there? I'm done here. I'm finished here. It's time for me to move on. It's time for me to stop living with my parents. It's time for me to move on. It's time for me to get my own account. It's time for me to move on. It's time for me to get my own car. It's time for me to move on. It's time for me to go to college. It's time for me to get that promotion. It's time for me to start doing and waking up and living my dreams. Now as I'm doing that, adversity and opposition strikes. Oh my gosh. So everybody say, I'm obeying you. So what's up with this? So Jesus was obeying the will of his Father, and all of a sudden opposition strikes. What type of opposition do you guys go through in your life? Negativity coming from your families. Watch this one. Not having enough money for the current situation that you're in. Oh, the car, it costs about $1,200 to get this fixed, Pastor Tommy. I know I'm obeying God. I'm obeying you, so what is up with this? I'm looking to cross over, but now I have a $1,200 payment that I don't have in my bank account, so what am I going to do? Am I not obeying God, Pastor Tommy? Oh my God, what am I doing? Let me tell you something. Don't ever let the situations that you go through in your life define you. The problems that you face don't define you. Just because you're going through a problem does not mean that defines you. So we're going across, and we're crossing over. Opposition, negativity from families, money. Somebody tell me another opposition that we face as we're looking to cross over. Just in life, period. What's some opposition? Jealousy. People hating on you. And the haters love to stay with the haters. They always try to pull you down. Nice. YB.
Peer pressure. Peer
pressure. That's a big one. Trying to fit in. They're pressuring me. I'm being opposed. I'm looking to leave them. Oh, you think you're too good for us now? Oh, okay, we see. So you want to drive a better car? Okay, you think you're better than it. You want to go work at that job? You think that you can actually go to that college? You think you're better than this? Peer pressure. Opposition. One more. Fear. That's a huge one. Fear will try to come, and that's a good one because we're getting ready to get into that. That's some type of opposition that we face when we're looking to cross over. So let's keep reading. After the great windstorm arose, the water was filling up. He was in the stern. He was in the back of the boat, asleep on a pillow. They woke him up and they said to him, "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing at this present time?" So check this out. Jesus was asleep. So you know what this shows me? If Jesus, he laid down his deity. Understand that. When he came down to live on earth, he was living as a man. He was tempted in every way that we are. Okay? He used the same authority that he has given unto us. Because check this out. God is omniscient now. But when he was on earth, he wasn't. Because if he was omniscient, he would have known that storm was coming and he would have warned the disciples. Catch this. Jesus' words never return void, which means that anything that Jesus says in his word has to come to pass, regardless of what's in between. So if he said, you're going to get from A to B, you're going to get healed from this infirmity, you're going to get the money because I've showed you how to get it, you're going to get the job because you've prayed for it, this is where I need you to be, and you're going to get from A to B. It doesn't matter what happens in between A and B, I'm going to the other side. Because Jesus said, I'm going to get from A to B. He said, if I pray anything in his will, which is in his word, and believe on it and act upon it, it's going to be done. So whatever happens from here to there, it does not matter. I don't care if Hurricane Katrina comes through and blows the roof off of my house. Somehow God's either going to move me or he's going to put the roof back on the house. I don't know. I think Abraham did the same thing. God gave him a promise and said, you will have a son. He has the son. And then God says, kill him. What? He just believed that even if I do kill him, God will raise him up somehow. I don't know. God said I'm going to get from A to B. So I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. God said whatever I pray and believe, if I receive it in faith and act upon it, then it's mine, if it's in his will. And this is the school that he needs me to be in. So I don't care what guidance counselor I go through. I don't care what teacher tries to put me down. I don't care what tries to hold me back. Financial aid, whatever tries to hold me back. If I'm going from A to B, I'm going to make it because Jesus said I'm going to the other side. If he said that I will arise, and if I pray for healing, and the sickness must leave me, the believers shall lay hands on the sick. They shall recover. They will cross over from sickness to health. If all I do is keep my eyes on B, it doesn't matter what happens between A and B, whether I get hospitalized, whether they hook in IVs, it don't matter. I'm believing that I'm going to get from A to B because whatever Jesus says, his word does not return void. And if I can find it in here and how it applies to my life, and if I can get it in me and believe on it, then I'm going to get from A to B. It doesn't matter what windstorm happens. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what doubt and opposition comes to me. They think I'm crazy, good, because crazy people get the job done. I'm going to show you how Peter was crazy. And if you're not crazy, guys, you're not going to advance in life. I'm not talking about nutty crazy. I'm talking about not caring about what others think about you and stepping out of the boat.
We bow down